Greetings everybody. I'm doing the mid-year freakout tag. You know how I love doing a tag, and no one tagged me, but I've just seen all of YouTube doing this, booktube, so I thought I'd do my own one. This is 16 questions. I'm not going to tag anyone because I don't want to make people feel obligated to do the book tag, but I'll put the questions in the description for anyone who wants to make their own video or who wants to answer any book tag questions in the comments. And if you have any questions for me that you're hoping might come up in this video that don't, please feel free to ask them in the comments and I can just answer them there. So I didn't start this tag and I don't know who did, but I saw it on Criminolly's channel first, so I'm going to link his video in the description as well. You should go and check that out. I love Criminolly. Okay, so the first question for the mid-year freakout tag is that what's the best book I've read so far this year? And when I was having a look at the list of the books that I read so far, so let me just check my little board. I have read 66 books so far this year, and I am currently on a read what you own challenge, and I thought that a good way to get through the challenge and a good use of the challenge would be to try to get through the massive backlog of the review requests that I have from authors that have asked me for book reviews for their work on my website. And so when I looked through my list, I realised that it's almost exclusively been review requests so far this year. There's hardly anything on the list that I've picked up that was just sort of on my own personal TBR radar. And because of that, my current reading list for everything I've read so far is unusual because it's just featuring fewer of the authors that I would typically pick up really fast because I haven't had space for them yet. And also there's a lot of authors on there that I'd never read before, so it's like a good mix. But sorry, that was a long-winded way. This was a really hard decision. So at the time that I'm recording this video, obviously this might change by the end of the year, but my favourite book of the 66 that I've read so far this year is Blood Cypress by Elizabeth Broadbent. I really love Elizabeth Broadbent. I think I first read her last year and I find her writing consistently great. And Blood Cypress is about a young woman that lives in a very, let's call it a conservative small area, and it's near this swamp that there's a lot of rumour and sort of like local urban legend around it. People are afraid of the swamp, including the police, and they will not go in there, which is a problem when this young lady's little kid brother goes missing, and she's absolutely positive that he's in the swamp, but nobody will actually go and scour the swamp to look for him. And her family life is really wrought with various tensions with her family members. Like, she basically doesn't have any strong healthy relationships with anybody. So the story was really layered, and it had this real creepy sort of background supernatural buzz to it. And then the central story, sort of the external conflict, was really interesting, as was all of the internal conflict character stuff. So I just thought that Blood Cypress was a really great read. Obviously if you'll be here if you like horror, because I almost exclusively talk about horror here. As far as horror goes, I absolutely recommend the book, but it's light on the horror aspect, as in you're not going to find dead bodies and blood and guts. If that's your brand of horror that you like, this is a bit more personal and psychological than anything else. But if you like that kind of horror, you might like it. Okay, the second question, best sequel. So again, I do have things on my list, but at the time of recording this, in terms of horror, I haven't read any sequels, which is very surprising. But I did read a really great prequel, so I'll talk about that instead. And it was a sort of between short and novella length story called Poison Ivy, which was in a collection called Poison Ivy and Other Dark Tales by Mark Towse. So this Poison Ivy, the story, was a prequel to his novella Nana, which I really liked. Nana is about a cult. The members are people that you might not expect. You don't often see these kinds of people in a scary murderous cult. And I loved that novella, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's really good. It's horror, but it has like a funny flair to it, like not in a spoof way, but it does have comedy. And the prequel Poison Ivy was the same, so I would highly recommend that as well. Mark Towse is another writer whose writing I just really clicked with, and I really like it, and I think his horror comedy blends are amazing. Number 3 was, my favourite reread. Now, I hardly ever reread anything because I always have an ever-growing TBR, so I don't tend to have time for rereads. But I did reread, where is it? I actually have the physical copy of this one to show you. Misery and Other Lines by C.C. Adams. So I reread this so I could review it, because this is the copy as published by the Sinister Horror Company, which is unfortunately out of business now. But C.C. has had this republished by Domain Publishing. I'm pretty sure that's right. If I'm wrong, I'll put a correction on the screen. So yeah, CC has re-released this, and I wanted to give it a reread so that I could properly review it. So I really enjoyed it. It's a collection of short stories that all take place on the same Halloween night, all on separate trains and parts of the London Underground. So it's like a location themed, seasonal themed, and you'd think it would get samey because of the location, but it really doesn't. And Cece did a really wonderful job with that collection. I thought that was quite a sort of a high concept. Genre you've been loving. Wow, this will come as a surprise to no one that it's horror. Obviously horror. I have dipped a little bit into a little dark fantasy, a little sci-fi, even a little sauciness actually, but kind of all in horror adjacent things, so I haven't strayed very far. But yes, horror obviously. Question number 5 is new release you haven't read yet but want to. And you guys already might be surprised that I have not yet read Stephen King's Never Flinch, which I did pre-order, so I got pretty much when it came out. I'm dying to read it, but I'm really trying to get through my review requests first, and more on that later because there's a question that kind of ties into that. If you've been watching my channel for a while, it might surprise you that I've put a Stephen King book, a new one, on the back burner, because I have read, apart from that book, everything that he's ever published. And in fact, I ranked all of his novels and short story collections and everything. I'll put a link in the description for that. I ranked everything in like 20 minutes or less. Just making a note so I don't forget to put that in the description in case you're interested in seeing that. Okay, so number 6, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'm not great at knowing what's coming out at any given time, but I do know that Ramsey Campbell has a book coming out called An Echo of Children, and I'm really, really excited to get that. I'm hoping to clear my Read What You Own challenge plus my review pile and everything, because I will be going to a couple of conventions this year. I expect to see Ramsey at least one of them. I assume they'll be trading his new book there, so I would like to buy that. And so I have to get my challenge done because I can't buy any new books until I finish my Read What You Own. Okay, biggest disappointment. Now you guys are going to be disappointed with this answer because I can't bring myself to name a book for that because it'll be an indie book, and I don't want to crush an indie author by letting them know that they were the worst book out of 66 that I've read so far. So my biggest disappointment is that I have not yet finished my Read What You Own challenge. I've got 34 books left, and I was really hoping to have done that by at least a month ago, so I'm behind where I wanted to be. But I have been reading quite rapidly the last couple of weeks, so I'm hoping. I wanted to get it done by the end of July, preferably, but I think I'm going to have to go into the first week of August, and you will see, again, this is coming up later. But yes, I wish I had finished my challenge. Biggest surprise. Oh, Triangle. So I've just read this. I've just read a novel called Triangle by Mark Allen Gunnels. I think I've pronounced the surname. Sorry, Mark, if I've messed that up. So this was a surprise because this isn't really horror, although I would call this horror adjacent because of the themes and stuff, and the human angle. So this is a what would I call, what genre is it? It's the story about three people, mostly about two people, Nate, Dean, and Sally. Dean has got some troubles. He's got some addiction problems with alcohol. He's moved to a new town with his dad. His mum realized that she was gay quite far into her marriage, and so she has left them for a woman, and she's trying to reach out, but Dean is not interested. He's very angry with her. So he has some problems. He has to repeat a senior year in school. His next door neighbor, did I just call him Nate? Is that his name? Oh man. Oh man. I'm gonna call him Nate. I think that's where it is, but I could be wrong. I'm really sorry if I've messed that up. But the next door neighbor, anyway, it also has problems. There is a homophobic bully that's always on his case. He's a senior in school as well. He's never really had a relationship, and he's got a contentious relationship with his parents. His mum died years ago. He doesn't get along too well with his sister Sally, who's older and she's away at college a lot. And his dad is an author that spends a lot of time on the road, so he's quite lonely, this kid. And then Sally also has her issues. She was kind of, I guess, parentified. She's still put in charge of keeping an eye on her brother while her dad's away, which really shouldn't be her responsibility. And so all three of these characters, it's kind of like this is I don't want to call it coming of age because they're a little bit old for that, but it's very sexual. So when Mark sent me this book, he was like, it's really gay, and I was like, well, that's great. It's Pride, and I'm trying to make an even bigger efforts to make sure that I'm reading a lot more diversely, especially this month. I was like, that's great, but I didn't realize that it was really sexual. I should have, because it does say an erotic novel on the cover, and I've never read an erotic novel before. I've read novels that have a little bit of eroticism in them, but nothing that you'd put in the erotica category. So I was probably turning beetroot red as I talk about it. Very sexy scenes. And lots of sexy scenes, lots of trauma, lots of issues, lots of complicated relationships. And so I think if someone had, like, I never read the back of a synopsis for anything, so I didn't really ask Mark what this was about. I just knew that he was trying to promote it, and I really like Mark, and so I told him to go ahead and send it to me and that I would review it. And he did tell me that it wasn't horror up front. So I think if I'd known what it was about, I might not necessarily have asked him for it. But I'm really, really glad that I read it, because I could not put it down. I think I read it in one sitting. I was very captivated by everything. I thought, like, he really captured people very well. So yeah, that was my biggest surprise, because it's outside of a genre that I read, and in fact it's in a genre that I would never normally like volunteer. I would never normally pick this, so it's opened my eyes, and maybe I'll give other genres a bit more of a shot that I've kind of written off in my head. Okay, number 9. Favorite new author or new to you. So that would be Kate Collins for me. I read A Good House for Children and I loved it. This is one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. And it had a dual storyline. It's about a dual timeline storytelling, sorry. So we've got two different women. One is a wife, mother, and artist, and kind of gets like her arm twisted into moving into this home, like against her will, sort of, or against her prior knowledge. Her husband just kind of sets it up and they move there, and she's experiencing some weirdness. And then a few decades in the past, we've got the story of a nanny, basically like a babysitter, live-in babysitter, and the house is doing weird stuff, and that was just a really, really great time. And so I'll definitely be picking more by Kate Collins up because it was fabulous. Number 10, newest fictional crush. I really had to think about this one because I don't tend to crush on fictional characters very much anymore, but I got to say I'm going to mispronounce this book, sorry Simon Bestwick. It's Valerie from Rothstein, The Gun. This is a gun, by Simon Bestwick. So this is a really cool story. This is about Valerie, whose past is catching up with her, and then you realise that her past goes much further back than most people's pasts. But why is this? And Valerie was just really like a really like kick-ass character that I admired a lot, and she's, you know, she's in a nice loving relationship and she's got this cool job, and then when stuff starts sneaking back up on her, she's making smart decisions and you know, trying to work her way out of the problems, like not in dumb ways, which I do read and see more than I would like. But I just really, she was really strong, and I feel like she's someone that I would gravitate towards. So yes, that would be my fictional crush, is Valerie. Vicky Valancourt. I don't know why I said that. Okay. Newest favourite character. Oh, and that would be Grey. From the novel Grey by Ian Rogers. So Grey is about a grey character who's neither in hell nor heaven and is sent to Earth to try to retrieve the last human soul that was stolen, and it's like this whole thing. This is sort of a horror, a humorous horror novel. Grey is a really funny character, where like whenever something really bad is about to happen to him, he's just a bit like, oh, like the comedy comes out of his general attitude towards his situation, and I just really loved the character and how he responded to all the situations he was in. So yes, Grey, it has to be Grey. I've loved a lot of characters in a lot of the books that I've read so far, but that was a really easy one. That was the first one that came to mind, and then I went through my list of everything that I've read and it didn't change. So yes, how many times am I going to say Grey in the space of 30 seconds? Grey, it was Grey. Okay, book that made you cry. I don't think that I actually shed a tear because that is very rare for me when I read, but the closest that came to making me cry was Blood Cypress again by Elizabeth Broadbent. So I've already talked about the book, but that's quite emotional, and that would be the closest that sort of came to, you know, making me a little tearful. 13, book that made you happy. That would be Looney by Gavin Dillinger and Stephen Kosniewski. Looney is insane. You know the old Looney Tunes cartoons? Picture that, but merge it with sort of cosmic Lovecraftian horror, and throw it in with a main character who is what's her name? Gabriella, who is military, and she's living alone in this cabin, and then something really weird happens to her one night that might involve cartoon characters. I mean, it's very hard to describe the tone of that book. I think the first thing I thought when I finished reading it was, are these authors okay? But in a good way, you know? It's very entertaining and very visceral. Okay, let's move on. 14, most beautiful book you've received or bought. I have 3. I cheated a little bit because I couldn't pick. So, I have read one of these. I have not read the other 2, but I've got Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, which you might look at that and think, is that beautiful? But it has sprayed edges. I say sprayed edges, painted edges, and it has some artwork inside. And I've shown these in one of my Abominable Book Club unboxing videos, so I won't go on about it too much here again. But it's just, yeah, just beautiful painted artwork. And then also from Abominable Book Club, these are from the last 2 months of the box. I was so pleased. Got Ronald Malfi's Senseless as well, and this absolutely gorgeous. I think I like it a little bit more than the Buffalo Hunter just because it's a little bit more I don't know, moody, I think, but this has interior artwork as well. So yeah, I am a sucker for this kind of extra effort with a book. And then completely different art style, but I just did a whole video on this last week. I think I put it up on Saturday, and it's the Hellraiser edition of Phantasmagoria, or I can't say, I think I've been pronouncing it wrong every time I've said it, but it's got this beautiful cover artwork, obviously all Hellraiser themed, and then inside there's a lot. Inside there's as well as photos, posters, movie stills, behind the scenes pictures, and all of that as well. We've got pictures with the special effects and the makeup, and then also some original art as well. So yeah, there's just all sorts of stuff in here, but it was a real feast for the eyes. So I don't know if people typically find scary stuff beautiful, but I think that is really beautiful. Okay. These last two questions are going to require a bit more time, and I'll try not to spend too much time on them. But question number 15 is books you need to read by the end of the year. So this is sort of self-imposed, obviously, but I do have my list of books, the review quests I've still got pending, and some physical books that were sent to me, and then just stuff that I've been meaning to get around to for a long time. So this is kind of like, this could shift depending on like if I get something new when I finish my challenge and stuff. But okay, pending review requests, which are my priority, and these are all of like the next books I'm getting through, and I'm currently reading some of these as well. Okay, so I've got Suffering Sequence, that's a trilogy by Elizabeth Lynn Blackson. I've got Hallow Weird, which is an anthology that Johnny Maines sent to me. Remedy by J.S. Bruckler. I'm so sorry I've butchered your surname. I'm awful with names, I know. The Last Breath Before Death by Alan Goulburn. Bedlam Trances by Nicholas Wagner. Songs of Shadow, Words of Woe by Matthew R. Davis, which I actually have read, but I don't know where my draft for my review went, which isn't up yet, and so I'm currently rereading it to make sure I get my review up. Just needed to make sure I remembered all the stories. It's short stories. A Whisper in the Dark by Elizabeth Devici. I want Devici. Oh, so sorry. Children of Solitude by Michael G. Williams. Timeless, which is an anthology. Ticktown by Christopher A. Oh God, I can't read my writing. Miklos. Dissectio by Robert Calder. House Sitter by Brendan Norton. Great Robots of History by Tim Major. Pleasure Seekers by Mike Krutz. And Ben Kurt Unsworth has sent me something as well, and I didn't know if I could put the title on the list, so I'm not going to put the title on the list, but that's in my TBR. And then I also have some physical books. So obviously Never Flinch by Stephen King will be read by the end of the year. And then I have my zombies. I've got Zombie Apocalypse I can't say that. Zombie Apocalypse Washington Deceased, Zombie Apocalypse Endgame, and Zombie Apocalypse Horror Hospital, and The Mammoth Book of Zombies, all sent to me by Stephen Jones, who is the editor of all of these books, editor and creator of this whole series. And then I've got For Every Evil by S.Q. McGrath, which I've been so excited to read. She sent me this such a long time ago and told me not to worry about reviewing it, and it was just a gift because I've been buying all of her books since I discovered her. But of course I'm going to review it, but I've been saving this to treat myself with because I know I'm going to love it. But yes, I meant to get to that sooner. And then I also have Deadly Plot and Of Sands and Tides by Jan Edwards. Oh, and Fables and Fabrications by Jan Edwards. I love Jan. Jan, if you're watching, I love you, and I can't wait to see you at the conventions later. I hope you're at least one of them. And then from Trevor Kennedy, who sent me that beautiful Hellraiser Phantasmagoria, I've got another issue, the EasterCon special, and I also have the Alchemy Press Book of the Dead 2024 to read, and I'm really excited. I've got, it's not in the pile because it's in my room, in my bedroom, because I'm reading it, but I've got the Originals Retribution and the Originals Rage by David Watkins, which are sequels to the original Return. The Originals Return, I think, is the first one. And then I have got Adam Millard's The Village of Sea and Gods and Mobsters, and Falling Over by James Everington. So I was hoping to just finish all those by the end of the month. I'm sure there are some that are on my priority list that I just put in a pile somewhere else in my house that I have forgotten about. Now, if you are an author that has sent me a review request and you are yet to see the review of your book materialize on the website, and I haven't listed you here, if you go to Goodreads, I've got an account there, Happy Goat Horror on Goodreads, and everything that I have read, but the review isn't posted on the website yet, is on Goodreads. So if you have not been mentioned in this video and there also isn't a review of the book you sent me on Goodreads, please shoot me an email or a message and just let me know that you saw this video and you're just wondering about your review. Sometimes emails just get lost in the wrong folders and stuff. I do go through them every now and then, but yes, please let me know if you're just missing from either list, and I can just let you know where we are with things. Okay, and this last question is just kind of a hard one. So, favourite book community members. Now, if I was to list my favourite book community members, I would be here all day long. So instead of trying to list every single person that I love in the book community, because there's got to be over 1,000 of you, I thought maybe I would list a bunch of the YouTubers that I like to watch that do book specific content. I have just hours and hours and hours of fun and loads of videos to catch up on, by the way, because I can't watch all of these in a week every week. But I'm just spoiled for choice all the time. I'm never at a loss of what to watch. So these aren't in any particular order, literally just in the list on my subscriptions as they appear on. Oh, sorry, Loki's freaking out because the door's closed. I gotta let him out. If you have a YouTube channel and you talk bookish things on it and I don't mention you here, drop your channel link in my comments so that I can check your channel out and then subscribe and watch your stuff as well. So I've got Gavin Reads It All. I'm sure a lot of people here will know Gavin Reads It All. He covers loads of genres. I do not know how he has the time in his life, even if this is his full-time job, to read as many books as he does. But I got also, I don't know if I can sort of drop links for all of these channels in the description, so I might see if I can do it in the comments, but either way I will have a list of all of these booktubers somewhere, either in the description or comments, so you can find them. Then I've got my YouTube bestie, Eric Smith, horror aficionado, and Eric pretty much always reviews horror, sometimes things that are in a horror / something else category. He uploads very consistently, a few videos a week, and he has the low budget review show, so it's like no muss, no fuss, just sort of talking about good books, and it's his fault almost entirely that my wish list for books is as long as it is. So thanks, Eric, because he's always telling me about really great books I don't have yet. I love Literary Love 123. Also makes really just interesting videos, dedicated book reviews and lists and things. And also I hope she wouldn't mind me saying this, but I just think she is the most adorable person that I've ever seen and heard, and I absolutely love her accent, and she's another person that I find really, really soothing to listen to and watch. She has a very wholesome, calming presence, and so Literary Love 123's videos are kind of like part entertainment and then part just like stress relief, relaxation for me. Absolutely love that channel. Criminolly, who I've mentioned several times. I'm sure lots of you will be familiar with Criminolly. He reviews crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. So yeah, great channel. Cliff's Dark Gems, I absolutely love. Once again, he does like dedicated book reviews, wrap-ups and things, and I don't think he always just sticks to horror, but I've watched a lot of horror content on his channel. Exaggerated Allergy, and you'll have heard me, if you ever hear me say the name George, I'm talking about Exaggerated Allergy. So George talks a lot of horror, but also a lot of real world stuff, and he's has like these podcast reviews where he has guests on. They talk about loads of different things. They recently talked about adolescence, which was an excellent episode, but I could listen to George talk all day. He also does a lot of gaming content, let's play stuff, and I loved his Silent Hill 2 remake let's play. Was my favorite Silent Hill 2 video series that I've watched so far, and I just absolutely love George. And then let's have a little look here. Carrie Can Read, very popular channel. You've probably already so I probably said the name wrong because I'm behind on Carrie. Oh, I'm behind on her videos anyway. Sorry. And then, hang on, oh my god, my list has disappeared. Possessed by Horror, that's mostly films, but she does also talk about books sometimes. Willow Talks Books, I'm sure lots of you will be familiar with, because Willow talks books. And that's a channel that I found a bit more recently that I've really been enjoying, and I've got so many videos to catch up on, and I love that. You know when you find a new YouTube channel and then you realise there's like endless content on there for you to go back through, so that's always really fun. The Bookish Drummer, yeah, I love that channel. It's sort of like intercuts the review bits with like little drum diddle, I don't know, a paradiddle, is that what you call that? But anyway, I like the theme of the channel. I'm probably going to mispronounce this, I'm so sorry. I'm behind on these videos as well, but it's Angel, can't read. Nice little bookish videos, and also some interesting topics that come up as well, bookish topics. So that's a cool channel to watch. Lauren at Stories and Surprises. These sort of shorter reviews, like less than 10 minutes normally, and they're normally like dedicated book reviews, and there's like book hauls and unboxings and stuff. I don't think Lauren's posted for a little, 5 months ago was the last one, but still plenty of videos there for you to watch and enjoy. Tepid Shambles, again, really short videos, reviews. These tend to just be like a couple of minutes long normally, like up to about 5 minutes, but normally less than 2 minutes long. So yes, Tepid Shambles, that's like, if you're just looking for like really quick book reviews and recommendations, that's a good channel. More really short form content, Nat Whiston reviews. Again, very short but cheery dedicated book review videos, usually around about 5 minutes long. If you're in a hurry, and I like to watch a mixture, so like I'll wait like a few videos where like I won't have watched any for a while, and then I binge Nat's videos because I like to listen to like long streams of things at a time. But yes, you can do either or. Author DL Tillery, sorry, I can never pronounce anything. I suck. But yes, this is lovely bookish content. Okay, just a couple left then. Harpies in the Trees. I've been following Harpies in the Trees for such a long time. Absolutely love her. Gloria McNeely, love. And then lastly, Anda Kent, who is another fairly bookish in the booktube space booktuber, and she's very consistent with her uploads as well, and she does a lot of extreme horror content, and extreme horror isn't really my bag, but I really get very entertained watching her talking about it. So yes, like I said, if you have a bookish channel or a horror type YouTube channel and I haven't mentioned it, maybe I haven't seen it, or maybe I saw videos and I forgot to subscribe, so please let me know where your channels are in the description, so I can have in the comments, sorry, so I can have a little look. My energy's a bit manic, I'm so sorry. I think I've talked about too many things, but I hope that this freak out book tag, I guess I am freaking out. I either need caffeine or I've had too much caffeine is what's happened. I hope that this was fun for you. I'm going to probably do another update on my Read What You Own challenge on Saturday, because I'm hoping to hit 70 books by the time I get to the weekend, but that's not very likely. Otherwise, I'll have a dedicated book review of something new for you, because I definitely will have finished that. But lots of, yes, very mysterious, I know. So anyway, I hope that that was okay for you. Yes, please answer the questions if you like in the description. Link me to your own channels. Let me know who your favourite booktubers are, if you think I've got a hole in my sort of booktuber collection on my subscription list. And I'll see you soon. Bleed!